Good morning, students. Welcome to our EVS class. I'm your teacher, Mrs. Nutan Milind Karadekar from Father Agnel Technical High School, taking up EVS Part 1. Today, we are going to do the continuation of the lesson Food for All, Part 2. We have already learnt the traditional method of agriculture and we have also learnt about the modern methods of agriculture. Today, we are going to see in the next slide fertilizers used by the farmers. You know, farmers are using many kinds of fertilizers so that they get a good crop. Now, the fertilizers I have shown you here is a bag of a urea. Now, what is urea? It is fertilizer added to the soil. We have to add fertilizers to the soil to restore its productivity. Fertilizers provide the required nutritive substance to the crop. There are two kinds of fertilizers that we should understand, that is natural fertilizer and chemical fertilizers. Now here I have tried to show you greenhouse management and understanding environmental impacts of horticulture. What does it means? That they build a greenhouse, the farmers build a greenhouse, and under that they manage their crops. So this helps in maintaining the balance of the environment. Now when there is more fertilizers added, chemical fertilizers added like urea, what will happen? It is very hazardous to the health of the human beings. Now let us see the different kinds of natural fertilizers available. The natural fertilizers which are available are the compost. They are also called as manures. They are obtained from materials available in the nature like the green waste and animal dung. Animal dung means here we are basically concerned with the cow dung, and vermi compost, biofertilizers. All this you will learn in your higher classes. But for the time being, you should know that manure is the natural fertilizer which is added to the soil to increase its productivity. Chemical or artificial fertilizers which is used by man is very harmful for the crops and also for the human existence. Chemical fertilizers they not only a risk to the life and health of children but also to that of adults. So most probably we should avoid chemical fertilizers and start using natural fertilizers. The overuse of chemical fertilizers leads to accumulation of excess chemicals in the soil. This lowers the fertility of the soil and reduces its productivity. Sometimes farmers they are not aware of how much water is required for a particular crop, so they keep on watering the crops, but because of this overwatering, what happens? The land becomes more saline and fallow. Therefore only required amount of water should be supplied to the crop. If the land becomes saline and fallow, it has to be tested to find out which substance it lacks. The fertility can be restored by adding these substances. It is a costly and time consuming process. Therefore, it is better to avoid excessive use of fertilizers and water. Now, sometimes the farmers have to take care of the crop. Why? Because insects and pests they attack the crop. So they have to protect their crop. Protection of crops. Diseases and pest attacks can damage crops in the fields. As a remedy, insecticides and pesticides are sprayed on crops, or certain chemicals are rubbed on the seeds before sowing. So what happens? That will control the pest. Yes. And after you, now here I have tried to show you some kind of pesticides and chemicals that kills the pest. Pests are animals that harms the plant that we want to grow, and this is the man, he has to fully cover his face with a mask and he has to carry a can on his back, cylinder you can call it, and some chemicals he has to spray on the crops, which is called as pesticides or insecticides. Then there is one more picture of protection of crops from pest attack. But what happens if you keep on spraying pesticides again and again? The overuse of chemicals, it is not good. It lowers the fertility of the soil and affects the productivity of the crop. See here, I have tried to show you, if lot of chemicals are used, the crop also will not grow properly, and it is saying no for chemicals. Yes, a human being surrounded with leaves, it means that there is life in that plant, and it also is saying no to the chemicals. Now when we are talking about natural fertilizers, you know that compost is a natural fertilizer. It is made by decomposing organic materials into simpler organic and inorganic compounds by the microorganisms in a process called decomposition. I'm sorry. Now all should try to grow organic plants. That means natural way of growing plants. Now in this slide, I have already tried to make you understand, or I'm trying to make you aware that there are natural pesticides also. And in horticulture or in this kind of special advanced study, they help us to do the greenhouse management, and they make the farmer train for using this greenhouse and understanding the environmental impacts of this horticulture. Now here natural pesticides are used. Somewhere lime is used, somewhere some sprays are used, and these are all homemade. They are naturally available. So in this natural pesticide there is less use of chemicals. Of course, these natural pesticides must be little expensive, but in the long run it is good for the crops also. Now once the crop is ready and it is converted into grains, the question arises of storage of grains. What is the question now? How to store the grains? Storage of grain. In olden times, people used to have the traditional way of storage, that is, they used to have a warehouse, or you can say as godam, where all the gunny bags were kept. And in the grains like in wheat and rice, they used to add some neem leaves. Neem is a medicinal plant, you have learnt in lower classes, and also know that neem is such a beneficial tree. I'm sorry. Neem is such a beneficial tree. The leaves of neem and the fruits of neem are dried, and then they are added to the grains so that the grains remain pest free, and no mice or rats come and attack the grain. Then it is stored in a warehouse. One picture is shown in your textbook, but I have tried to show you one traditional method of storing grains. This is the traditional method of storing grains by farmers. Small farmers who have small land and they have produced more, how they will store the grains for the entire year? This is the traditional method of storing grains. Storing the harvested crop safely is as important as increasing the production. What steps are taken for this purpose? Do you know in villages how does the farmer maintain this? The grain is dried first of all the moisture is removed well in the sun and filled in sacks. These sacks are then stocked in the house or after selling in a warehouse, or in shops. Stored grains can get damaged in two ways. I told you mice, rats and insects are very so we should keep them safe from all the mice and rats and insects. Also, if the grain is stored in a closed and damp space, it catches fungus and becomes unfit for eating. To prevent such damage by pests, chemicals are sprayed at the place of storage or all around it. And the traditional way is adding neem leaves to the grains. Some protective chemicals can be mixed with the grain are also available in the market. Their smell repels insects. Storage places are always kept dry and airy to prevent fungus formation. Now if you see this small can of grains, it is having small holes. That means it is airy and sunlight also passes and air also passes easily. So such kind of traditional methods of storing grains were practiced in India. Now you should also know what is the modern method of storing grains, and this modern storage is known as a silo. Now see, this is metal containers are there, and here I have tried to show you the inside of a silo modern method of storage of grains, and inside picture of a silo. This is when you have grains in lot and you have to save it for 2-3 years, or you have to save and use it for the disastrous events. Whenever there is a disaster, there's some pandemic like corona, or there is some sort of other disaster like floods, droughts, cyclones or hailstorm, that time what happens, the government use this stock and then it supplies to the people. Actually we get all these grains at a very low price at a fair price shop. You know what is a fair price shop? Anybody knows? Yeah, it is that ration shop where grains are given at a very reasonable rates. Anybody can buy it. So you also have to visit one of the fair price shop, observe the grains sold there, and they will give you the grains if you have a ration card. There are 2-3 types of ration cards. One is white, one is orange, and I think blue also. So if you can go and visit a fair price shop, they give us the grains at a low rate. So all this food grains are stored for 2-3 years in the warehouse, or you and this kind of silos. This is the modern method of storing grains, which is not there in the textbook, but still I have found out some important information for you. Later on in your higher classes it will be useful. Conservation of environment. Now what is important for us after production and after storing of grains? We have to see that the environment also is not disturbed. The balance in the environment is maintained. Environment remains fresh. Like us, like humans, see what is written here. Like humans, other living things also store food. We should follow the modern method of storage of grains. Use these grains at the time of disasters like earthquake, tsunami, flood, pandemic like coronavirus. Okay, now some of the animals like the squirrels, what they eat nuts. And where they store in the branches of the tree. Where there is a hole in the tree, they store the nuts there. And what about the bees? They collect the nectar from the flowers and store in the honeycomb in the form of honey. Same thing, insects like ants, they also collect all small food particles and keep it in their house. They make a small ant hill, and there they store the food. So we should learn from the animals also that even they have a law of if there is excess food, it should be stored. Now there was one question in the beginning of the lesson. What was the question? And I told you have to search your own answer. Which vegetables do we get around the time of Diwali? Which fruits? Which grains? Then what are the seasons of jowar, bajra, rice, mangoes, oranges and jackfruits? Which part of plants do we use as food? This was the 3 first questions that was asked. The answer is here on page 61. All the time plants are busy producing the food they need. Even so, there are some plants that store food. You are familiar with bulbs of plants such as onions and garlic, and tubers such as potatoes and ginger. They are all parts of the stem of the plants. Radish, sweet potato, beetroot are the roots of the plant. These plants store food in their stems and roots. We too store food in our houses according to our needs. So we should not uh, keep more food grains at home, because after all, if you store more, it is going to be spoiled. So we have to buy the required amount and store it. The surplus food grains the government stores in a huge warehouse. Now, one more picture, one more man, or you can say he is the father of Green Revolution. Who is this person? He is a doctor, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. Now, this person, he was the person who was the founder, or you can say because of him, no, our country became very self-reliant as far as the production of food grains is concerned. We are also able to export the surplus grains that we have produced. The tremendous increase of food grain production in our country was achieved during the Green Revolution time. It was brought about by the joint efforts of scientists, people working for the spread of science, and farmers. The credit for this research that led to improvement in the seeds of wheat and rice that resulted in the Green Revolution in India goes to Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. So the picture also is there in the textbook. This person was the key person who made our country self-sufficient in matter of food grains. Now, there is one law which is made in 2013. What is that law? Food Security Law. In 2013, our country too enacted a food security law. It has made it possible to fight ill like malnutrition, starvation, and death due to hunger. There is poverty all around, even in African countries, and in our country also. There are many people who are very poor, who can't afford 2 times meal a day. So we should think of those people and not to stop you know overeating first of all, and stop wasting food. Some people have the habit of taking a plate full of meal, and then half only they eat and half they throw. So we should always be careful that not to waste food, because it is from that grain from the fields till it comes to our plate. There is a huge process, huge chain of people working on it. So we all should be very careful, because every family needs a farmer. Here I have written here, know your farmer, know your food. Every family needs a farmer. Why do we need a farmer? Because he is producing our food. So our country cannot survive without farmers. Farmers play a very important role in giving us the food. The next slide is about Agriculture Management Assistance Program, AMA, Agricultural Management Assistance Program. Now, what is this program? Our farmers, some farmers are educated, but some farmers are still illiterate and having less knowledge. They don't have knowledge of technology and the important and modern methods of agriculture. So what happens? They have to first of all, we have to send them to agriculture schools to take lessons. And if at all they cannot go, some experts have to go to their farm, inspect the farm, and guide them accordingly. So this is a program made for such kind of farmers. Approach them, find out what problems they are facing in taking a crop. I'm sorry. And how you can help them in taking a good crop. Make them understand which type of technology should be given, what kind of irrigation should be done, drip irrigation or that sprinkle irrigation, how to take the crop, what kind of apparatus he can fit in the farms. Now here see some solar panel is fitted. For what it is fitted? Maybe some sort of heat is given to the nearby crops. Farmers are given assistance and guidance about the latest technology. Farmers use modern methods to increase the production. So if we go and help the farmers, they also will be happy, because the farmers are the ones who really need help from us. We should make them aware about the irrigation facilities, improved seeds first of all, and how to use the fertilizers and pesticides. Then we should also give them weather forecast and some information related to the crops. There should be agriculture produce marketing committees which can hold exhibitions to the farmers and they can come and exhibit their crop. This is how we can help the farmer, and the whole country will be benefited if the farmer knows all these things. Okay, all of us will be benefited. Next slide is about organic farming. Now, what is organic farming? Organic farming means farming that relies on natural materials is called organic farming. It is a form of traditional agriculture. In this method, the nutritive substances in the soil are retained. The organic pests used in this method have no harmful effects on those who eat the produce. The grain grown by this method is nutritious and also good to taste. That is why farmers have begun to opt for organic farming methods. Organic farming involves use of manure. I have shown you in the earlier slides how compost and manure are natural fertilizers. These manures consist of fish and bone meal, animal excreta, as well as decomposed remains of plants and animals. So we should always remember that crops should be watered only as much as necessary. Care should be taken when using chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and we should avoid the overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides and go for natural and organic farming, because organic farming will give us nutritious grains and nutritious fruits. And last but not the least, farmers can be made aware of the modern technology in agriculture, and they should be given some sort of assistance and guidance so that they can carry out their farming activity very smoothly. That's all for today. Thank you, class. See you in the next video. Till then, bye and remain indoors. Bye. See you. And thank you.